I'm Aldana Lingertat, Director of the Master of Arts and Master of Theological Studies programs at St. John's Seminary. These are the programs specifically for our laity, our permanent deacons, and for our professed religious. And welcome to the celebration of All Souls. With me tonight is Mary Ann McLaughlin, who has served over these past 20 years as a spiritual director and our director of spiritual formation for our students. And I'm asking Mary Ann tonight to reflect on loss and bereavement. Over these 20 years, we have lost a number of our faculty members. Bishop Lennon, Father Terence Curley, and more recently, Father John Sassani. John Sassani also worked with Mary Ann in spiritual care with the Archdiocese and with our students. So I ask you, Mary Ann, what words of wisdom or insights do you have for us as we remember our beloved deceased, especially our mentors, our priest faculty who have gone before us?
Well, I would say that take a line from St. Paul. He says beautifully, we do not grieve like those who have no hope. And if you just think about that for a minute, there's so much truth in it. In St. Ignatius's spiritual exercises, when you come to the end of the spiritual exercises, there's a meditation on the contemplation to attain the love of God. And the prayer is introduced by Ignatius asking us to imagine that we stand in the presence of God and all his angels and his saints. And that in that moment, we stand not only with the capital S saints, but with all those small s saints that have gone before us in life. And we join together. Actually, what we have been made for is communion. So we join together in that prayer in communion with all of those that have gone before us. The 20 years that I spent working with the Master of Arts and Ministry and the Master of Theological Studies has been an experience of the Paschal Mystery in the Church of Boston. Those who have been with us and then joined Christ in heaven are still with us, really praying for us. We've all been baptized into the life, death, and resurrection of Christ. And that Paschal mystery is part of what unites us on earth, but it also unites us in heaven, because those who have gone before us know what it is in Christ to live in a very particular way, being united with Jesus as we move toward him in eternity.
Thank you so much, Mary Ann. I know it has been hard for you, your family, the parishioners at Our Lady's to have lost Father John, and especially because of his great and wonderful shining light in all of our lives. And the same goes for our other faculty that we have lost, Bishop Lennon and Father Terence Curley. So we thank you for that wonderful reflection. And we dedicate this next musical selection in memory of all our clergy, our teachers, our mentors, who have been those shining lights in our lives. And we thank God for their presence and their continuing support and intercession in our lives.
Father John and I were sort of a team in the formation part of the Master of Arts in Ministry from the inception, actually. It was a part of the program that at that time was very, very unique. Father John, throughout all of the work that we did together in spiritual life, and then also in the Master of Arts of Ministry, and also with the diaconate in the area of formation, always had his focus on Christ. And I would also say that in that focus, it became crystal clear that the life, death, and resurrection of Christ is essential for us as a lens with which to view our life, and not to just view the kind of ordinary day-to-day stuff, but the big stuff, you know, the challenges, and to live it in Christ. As Father John got sick and was diagnosed with CAA, which took over probably about 5 years, maybe even more of his life in small ways. But the thing was, he continued every day to put one foot in front of the other. And those of you who had him in formation, you knew that things were changing. We didn't exactly know what it was, but the one thing that he would say over and over again is, I feel Christ is by my side. And it seemed as though that was all that mattered. He had a great love for sharing his love for Christ. And he had an image, which some of you may even remember, of Simon of Cyrene and Christ carrying the cross together. There was a crossbeam across their shoulders. And John would say, do you see that crossbeam? That's the yoke. That's the yoke that ties us together. And I saw in him a priest of the Archdiocese of Boston, committed to his faith, who really was publicly wearing the yoke, not ashamed of it, publicly wearing it and putting one foot in front of the other, walking towards Christ, walking with Christ, all those final days of his life. He was a great gift to the diocese, a great gift to the Master of Arts in Ministry, to our parish, and to our family, and to me.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Thank you for that, for sharing that. And we know his presence continues to support us.
No one here to guide you. Now you're on your own. Only me beside you. Still you're not alone. No one is alone. Truly, no one is alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone. But no one is alone. People make mistakes. Fathers, mothers, people make mistakes, holding to their own, thinking they're alone. Honor their mistakes, everybody makes one another's terrible mistakes. People can be right, people can be good. You decide what's right. You decide what's good. Just remember.